Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back. I'm back with part 4 of What If Deku had a healing quirk. I'm glad to see that some of y'all are enjoying the series. It's definitely a different type of series at that. But yeah, I hope you guys continue to enjoy this series as much as possible. I hope y'all continue to love the series, whatever. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave subs, make sure to leave a comment down below. It helps the algorithm, everything. Watching the video full and through helps the video. All that stuff does wonders for the algorithm. So make sure to do all that good stuff. Make sure to leave a like, all that stuff. And yeah, that's about it. I don't got that much more to say. And we're going to get into part 4 of What If Deku had a healing quirk. And let's get into it. Izuku Midoriya has a choice. His choice is between a couple agencies. By a couple, I really mean a ton. But he decides that when it all comes down to the nitty-gritty, he needs training. And who better to go to than the one that trained All Might? Well, Gran Torino. So he decides that he's going to go to Gran Torino's quote-unquote agency, which is not really an agency, it's just, you know, Gran Torino's home. With that said, though, he decides to do this, and he'll have to basically reject everyone else's, which he had some crazy good offers, even some from top pro heroes. Nonetheless, though, after speaking to Aizawa about where he's going to go, and after everything is said and done, he heads off in a car to Gran Torino's place. When he arrives, he knocks on the door, but he sees that it's slightly cracked open. As he pushes it open, the old man is on the ground with ketchup stains as well. But Izuku can obviously tell that he's fine and dandy, so he tells him that he can tell, using his quirk, that there's nothing wrong with him. Gran Torino stands up and kind of laughs, saying that he's a very receptive and smart kid, exactly what he's heard from All Might himself. Let's hope that he's a little bit better than what All Might was when he was younger. Izuku says that he will show Gran Torino exactly what he's made of, and their training would begin. Izuku would begin sparring with Gran Torino, learning more and more about One For All and how to utilize it properly, especially with One For All Full Cowling. Using One For All Full Cowling without the proper training and also just training in general actually has limited full cowling for Izuku. But now, hopefully, while he's been training with Gran Torino, he can increase the usage of full cowling, and on top of that, increase the stability of full cowling itself. So he has some really good training overall ahead of him. He does it from night to day, anything you could possibly think of, and also makes a couple breakfast foods and dinners for Gran Torino, you know, kind of that weird stuff that Gran Torino wants him to do, but that's beyond the point. After some time would pass, though, it would be finally time for some real training, and that's out on the field. The field, Gran Torino and also, well, Izuku will head over to Hosu City to get some patrols in. This will teach Izuku what it means to truly be a hero. Patrolling around, helping people out, even if it's just so minuscule. Even if it's just getting a cat out of a tree, saving something, saving a little child out of a pond, anything you could think of. The pond might not be deep, and the child might be able to just stand up, but that child will look at Izuku forever as a hero, because he was able to help him, save him, and he was compassionate enough to be, well, there for a little kid that needed somebody needed somebody at that moment. Izuku hears Gran Torino out and is excited to do what they need to do. Go on to Hosu City, do some patrols, and learn as much as possible. But when he would be on the train to Hosu City, something else would be occurring. Flames would be erupting from Hosu City, and Gran Torino would get a bad feeling. And just as that bad feeling would overwhelm him, a Nomu would smash into the train. Gran Torino would fight off the Nomu, telling Izuku to evacuate everybody here, and then do not go to Hosu City. Actually go and leave. Just get them completely out of the city, get them out of the city limits, and make sure everybody is good. Izuku does just that, but luckily he's able to do that at insane speeds. I mean, frankly, his usage of One For All, his usage of his healing quirk, anything you could think of would be extremely quick, extremely concise, and extremely beneficial. So he'd be able to do it relatively easily. So when he's done, he does head into Hosu City on basically the better wishes of Gran Torino. But he wants to help as much as he can, and when he arrives, he sees many fighting the Nomus, many heroes, and he begins to actually use his healing quirk to power up anybody he possibly can to more or less allow them to defeat Nomus relatively quickly. Even seeing Endeavor, someone who's been destroying these Nomus, he utilizes his own quirk to see how strong Endeavor can truly get, and he power boosts Endeavor. And as he does, Endeavor absolutely obliterates 3 Nomus in just one foul swoop. Endeavor looks at his hands and is in complete shock, as if he thinks that maybe he just unlocked a new ability or something. Izuku runs by and waves toward him and saying that he thought he could help out, so he gave him a little pick-me-up, in which Endeavor is shocked to see this because this kid, he's just a kid and he's able to utilize a quirk like that? Yeah, that's insane. Izuku would then begin to sense something around. He meets up with Gran Torino, and Gran Torino tells him to get out of here, but Izuku says that they're in that direction, there's someone that's really in need. Gran Torino shakes his head and says to send the coordinates as soon as possible, that if he needs to go over there, avoid conflict as much as possible as well. So Izuku takes off, sending the coordinates to Gran Torino when he can, and when he arrives at an alleyway. This alleyway has the one and only hero killer Stain, and he has a blade to Tenya Ida's back. Izuku sends information, the coordinates, to not only Gran Torino, but also to a group chat that he currently has. And actually, Shoto Todoroki, is currently nearby. Izuku walks up toward the hero killer and tries to get him to calm down, telling him not to take the life of somebody so young. He might have made a mistake and he might be seeking revenge, but he can change. He's young enough to do so. But the hero killer doesn't believe that to be true at all, thinking that once a horrible hero, always a horrible hero. And that's exactly what Tenya Ida will be when he grows up, and he needs to die right now and right here. Izuku tries to get him to basically change his mind, but of course, there is no changing the mind of the hero killer. The hero killer is about to plunge his sword into Tenya Ida, but Izuku reaches his hand out with the hero killer not knowing, and Tenya Ida is completely healed. He's able to dart off, wearing off the effects of the hero killer's quirk, and he's able to leave. Izuku shakes his head and says that he wanted this to be simple, easy, but obviously this is going to end in a fight, and Izuku will do anything to protect the people around him. He looks to see the hero Native as well on the ground, extremely injured, as he heals him from afar as Native begins to run away. Stain mocks Izuku, saying that these are not real heroes. Your friend Tenya Ida just ran away, and the hero behind him that he just healed also ran away. They're scared, terrified. They don't want to die. Of course they don't, because they're no real heroes. They're nothing like All Might. Izuku is shocked. Nothing like All Might. What are you talking about? The hero killer says that the only true hero is All Might, and he says that there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and that is just a fact. The hero killer says he will now test Izuku right now. The hero killer charges forward toward Izuku as Izuku activates One for All full cowling at about 15%, trying to defend himself and actually keeping up with the hero killer relatively smoothly, but not easily by any means. Izuku dodges, moves in and out as much as possible, using the martial arts combat and anything he's learned, but there is no comparison in terms of the martial arts Stain knows compared to the ones Izuku knows. It's not even close. The martial arts and the fighting style that Stain knows has been sharpened and perfected for decades. At least that's what it feels like. Izuku continues to fight and try to keep up, but nothing can really go his way 100%. But that's fine, because backup has now come. Flames begin to erupt from outside the alleyway, smashing into Stain as Izuku follows up with a punch to the gut. He looks to see the one and only Shoto Todoroki. He tells Todoroki that they can win this together. And of course, Izuku would be correct, and Shoto believes him as well. Izuku takes the front line as Shoto takes the back line, and as he powers up Shoto on every single attack he possibly can, it's as if he's almost as strong as Endeavor. It's as if Shoto himself his power is overflowing, overwhelming in terms of, well, what he can normally do. The hero killer is overwhelmed, and an iceberg that is even colder, harder, and stronger than ever traps the hero killer from moving even an inch. They trap the hero killer, and they keep him exactly where he needs to be. And the hero killer looks at Izuku. What kind of hero are you? He's shocked to see that some kid like this can do so much. The hero killer could sense that these kids weren't nowhere near as strong as they were. That Tenya Ida kid, how did he just get up and run away? Izuku doesn't say a word, but then says that he's, well, gifted, you could say. But he's also worked extremely hard for a long time. Or at least feels like a very, very long time. More heroes would finally come, and more heroes would eventually capture the hero killer, and Izuku and Todoroki would have to give up the idea that they defeated the hero killer and give the credit to Endeavor. Endeavor has some curiosity though towards Izuku. The fact that Izuku can be this powerful, can make other people this powerful. It's something that piques his curiosity immensely, and something that he wants to see further in the future. But for now, he can't do much about it until those kids get to the level, or basically get to the chance of going off into agencies. Endeavor wants Izuku to be part of his agency, at least as soon as possible, to make him and even Shoto Todoroki that much stronger. With all that said and done, everybody is allowed to leave, and all the internships are wrapped up, and they were sent back to UA. When they arrive at UA, Aizawa begins to explain exactly what's going to occur, not really talking about much of what the reason was for them all to have to be forced back earlier than what they were supposed to. He tells them all that they have a final exam, and that is going to be both written and also a practical. But this practical will be far different than what they would possibly imagine. The students would have no idea, at least not until the very, very end. Because when they study, work hard, and they finish the written, they all think that the practical is going to deal with robots. But of course, it has nothing to do with them. Robots is not practical, but fighting other heroes is very practical. Izuku awaits his turn, awaits to hear who and what they're going to do and who he's going to be going against. Everyone begins to get paired. People like Momo Yaoyorozu and Shoto Todoroki go against Aizawa, and more people are picked to go against a specific teacher or other known as a hero. Eventually it would lead to both Izuku and Bakugo being left over, in which Bakugo doesn't have that same hatred toward Izuku, but at the same time basically thinks that Izuku still doesn't necessarily deserve to be here, even though he's proved his worth time and time again, but he also doesn't really care about fighting with or against Izuku. After waiting some time, Bakugo and Izuku would be called to be the last team, and it would be against the one and only All Might. All Might would be a challenge that seems to be an insane hurdle to jump over, especially because this All Might is even stronger. Izuku and Bakugo will go head to head with an All Might that is partially, if not fully, healed by now, and, well, they'll take on a Goliath of a challenge. After they await and after they watch all of their friends in Class 1A finish up their own challenges, it's now time for them to take on the number one hero. When the gates swing open and they enter the city, they see All Might far ahead. It's as if it's the final raid boss that they have to go against. A giant gust of wind would get sent toward them, pressurized air trying to basically push them off guard, but Izuku and Bakugo fly past. They have one chance, one shot at it. Izuku's going to power boost Bakugo and hope for the best that they could keep up with this version of All Might's. But when they clash with All Might, it's abundantly clear that there is no keeping up. Yes, Izuku's gotten stronger. Yes, the power boost of Bakugo, his explosions may be that much stronger, but this All Might may have the last embers of One For All, but he's not restricted nowhere near as much as he would be in canon. So this All Might, even restricted by weights, would be able to absolutely tear apart Bakugo and also Izuku Midoriya. So they have to come up with a different plan. Utilizing all of their quirks, both Izuku and Bakugo try and make space, try and basically use the environment to their advantage, in which Bakugo makes these giant explosions, making clouds of dust everywhere, hopefully allowing them to both escape. Bakugo whittles it down and basically realizes that he's going to need to escape, and there's no other way around it. Bakugo, it has had some growth and knows that All Might would absolutely destroy them, and it seems like he is destroying them overall. So eventually it would lead to a couple cheap shots and also a couple strategies that Bakugo and Izuku would follow through with, allowing them to finally escape the grasp of All Might, escaping just by the skin of their teeth as All Might's about to grab Bakugo as they cross the finish line, or at least cross the escape line. All Might claps it up for them and says that he's really impressed. He knew that they wouldn't necessarily have a chance going 2 versus 1, even with Izuku's quirk. He just is too strong for any of them at this moment, but he tells them that soon they'll even surpass him, that they'll even find a way to get strength beyond that of the #1 hero. And this would allow Izuku and Bakugo to have insane amounts of confidence in themselves and not be annoyed at the fact that they had to just run away, or more like Bakugo wouldn't be annoyed that he had to just run away. With that said though, it's all wrapped up and it's all said and done. What is next is the forest training camp. More training to get them more powerful and get ready for what's ahead, because what's ahead is a battle with the League of Villains, and even further than that, a battle with some crazy villains. All For One is coming, but what is he coming for? Does he want to see the death of All Might? Does he need One For All? Or is he looking for someone else? Is he looking for Izuku and hoping that the power that is within Izuku can push him over the edge? Well, you'll have to find out, because the League of Villains will invade and the forest training camp will be under siege. But that is for the next part of What If Deku Had a Healing Quirk. And if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, make sure to leave a sub, make sure to leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.